I'm word on the street. I'm on the street, baby. Word.
What is up, people? It's the Word on the Street podcast coming back now after a brief hiatus. Some shit went down, people, to tell you the truth. But, I handled it. In case you haven't heard, I managed to shut down the entire federal government, allowing me to once again broadcast the signal coming to you live. The Word on the Street podcast here. Once again, my co-host, Jake from the MMA podcast. Jake, what do you hear? What do you say?
What's going on? I'm very glad the Word on the Street's back. Follow us on Twitter at the MMA podcast. All that good stuff. And yeah, I'm psyched, man.
Also on, defending Word on the Street trivia champion, co-host, commentator, analyst. He is none other than Ross Finkelstein. And trust me, people, he does approve of the nickname. He is the best Jew in the MMA business. How you doing, Ross?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to finally defend my Word on the Street podcast championship. It has been over 3 weeks. I've been thrown around. I haven't gotten a chance to defend this belt. It's like Bellator over here. I'm the champion and they don't give me fights. But finally tonight, yours truly, the best Jew in the business, makes his return.
You will get a fight tonight, Ross. A war you won't even believe, to quote John Rambo from the movie First Blood. Also, surprisingly joining us all of a sudden here, suddenly, I said that twice, our co-host Ninja, who's on and off the radar. You know, he's a ninja. Ninja, you're back on the Word on the Street podcast. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. What's up, guys?
Your phone isn't doing too great.
He's also a robot now, apparently.
Yeah, well, Ninja, you might want to reconnect or get to a better area. Yes, I don't even know what that is, man. It sounds like when after Darth Vader got the mask pulled off and he was choking on his own blood. Anyway, let's get to the content on the Word on the Street podcast here, people. We have a special guest tonight, none other than, well, Swayze Valentine. Swayze is a cut girl, cut woman, cut person. I'm not sure what the exact term is. She is in the MMA business. Follow her on Twitter at Swayze Cutgirl and check out her website at The Queen of Cuts. She is the Queen of Cuts. Swayze, how are you doing? Thank you for coming on. What's going on tonight?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on. I couldn't, think of a better way to spend my evening other than with you guys, so thank you.
That's what I like to hear. Thank you for taking pity upon our poor souls here. We're talking about trivia challenges, and there's a guy called the Ninja. This podcast is basically the Wayne's World of MMA, as I like to say.
I could think of lots of better things you could be doing.
That's true. Well, one of the things that you do, and I hate, damn it, I know,
Yep,
damn it.
You just said it.
One of your many talents is that you are, what is the term that you prefer? Cut person, cut woman, cut girl. Is there some other term that we don't even know about? What is it? What is it exactly that you do in the mixed martial arts world?
Well, first of all, I'm totally fine with calling me a cutman, just like all the rest. I definitely didn't get in the cut industry to change the name by any means. So I'm definitely not offended with just calling a plain old cutman. And yeah, it's the best job in the world.
I have to ask you, of course, right off the bat, the typical hack question that you probably always get asked. But, you can probably tell. You already know what's coming. How did you get into the business? How did you get into, the cut business?
How I got into the cut business, I started with wrapping hands first, because that's where every cutman or true cutman needs to start is with wrapping hands. You have to master that first. And I started that back in 2006 when I went to my first MMA event. And I know a few people kind of already know the story, but I went to my first live MMA show and fell in love with it. I mean, how can you not? It's just an insane, incredible atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And I knew I really wanted to be a part of it, but I knew I didn't want to fight. So I contacted the director, and I was like, hey, what can I do to be a part of your show or MMA if I don't want to fight? And he immediately threw back, well, why don't you be a ring girl? So to get my foot in the door, I was like, all right, cool, I'll go ahead and I'll do that. But the day or the night that I was supposed to work with the event as a ring girl, I saw the coaches wrapping the hands of fighters, and I knew right then that I fell in love, and I knew that's what I wanted to do, because in MMA, there's no greater honor than wrapping the hands of a fighter, and that's what I wanted to be a part of. So I did my research, and I contacted the best in the business, which was Jacob Stitch Duran, and he told me how to get started, and I just followed his direction, and man, I've been on a roll ever since.
Oh wow! So Stitch himself, UFC cut man, probably one of the most famous cutmen in the business that I can name. He actually gave you some advice. Can you kind of go into that a little bit more?
Sure, yeah. I emailed him and was like, hey, how does somebody get started with wrapping hands? Because that's initially what I thought that a cutman does. I didn't know the cut side yet at that point. And he said, you can, he goes, go ahead and rent my videos or watch me on YouTube, buy my book, and try to get into your local MMA or boxing gym and just see if you can earn their trust and start wrapping their hands. And so I immediately, the very next day, did my research and contacted any gyms that were near my area or as close to my area of where I lived, and made an appointment to go in and talk to the guys and see if they'd let me practice on them, and they did, and I was so thankful. And I would drive 120 miles round trip just to go wrap their hands 5 days a week, from 6 to 7 or 6 to 8 o'clock at night, just wrapping hands and practicing, and I love it. It's the best.
Okay, I have to get into that a little bit more though, because I'm not saying that you're weird. It is odd that you would want to be involved in that aspect of mixed martial arts. Is it just, are you just like just want to be involved in, or did it start with you just wanting to be involved in any way with the sport? Or is there something specific about the wrapping hands and the between rounds, doing what you have to do in the corner? Where is it just because you want to be a part of this sport? Because I can tell you right now, the reason we're doing this weird podcast with crazy ass trivia and me and these weird people called the Ninja, and the reason I got into it is because I love the sport so much. I just want to do whatever I can to be at least somewhat feel like I'm involved in it, learn about it, and promote it more than anything. So I'm just wondering, is it, the fact that you're even willing to, patch up some blood, attend to hurt people, I got to ask you straight up, is the MMA thrill for you? Does it have something to do with you just enjoying watching people fight, seeing blood spilled, like the violence, or is it something else?
That's a really good question, and that's a really tough question, because I have this insane desire and passion to be with the fighters and to wrap their hands and to take care of them. And I honestly believe that it chose me, and that may sound crazy to a bunch of people, or some people may be able to relate, but when you find something that you're supposed to be doing, you feel it and you live it and you breathe it, and there's really no good explanation of why it happened. You definitely don't wake up one day and say, hey, I want to be a cutman. And especially for me, back then, there is no future for women in MMA or boxing, those types of things, to be cutmen. There's always been women fighters, that type of thing. But a cutman career is definitely hard to come across. And for me to just have this, this desire to just be there and be a cut woman, I honestly, it's a really tough question to answer, but I honestly believe it kind of chose me. I knew that I loved the industry the first moment I walked through those doors and felt it.
Yeah.
So it may kind of sound kind of silly, but that's kind of how I feel about it, to be honest.
No, I definitely understand. Being close to the sport in any aspect is rewarding in and of itself, because it's new and because it is what it is. It's actually, it's I hate to quote the UFC, but it is as real as it gets at the moment. Okay, so the wrapping of hands, that's how you broke into it. But of course, once you start getting into that, the role of a cut, there's a lot of blood and gore. Are you afraid of that, or were you always comfortable with it? What's the word on the street about the actual goriness of the sport, the realism?
The actual goriness of the sport, I didn't have really any exposure to blood before I wanted to be a cutman, before I was introduced to the cut side of the industry. And again, I knew that was just another step, and it was a more intimate step and a more intimate time with the fighter themselves to be able to take care of them inside the cage. So the blood, it didn't even faze me to begin with. It was just, I got to keep that fighter safe, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do to give him one more round. And it really just kind of came to me. There has been some cuts that are just been so nasty that it can, it can kind of turn your stomach a little bit, and so you kind of have to bring yourself back and just not really pay attention and just make it a routine type deal. So there's definitely some times where the blood is hard to handle at times, but that's maybe only happened once or twice.
Yeah, I've got to ask, what are some of the worst cuts or injuries like that you've either worked on or seen in general? Like off the top of my head, there was an Eve Edwards fight that was bloody a couple years ago. There was a Joe Lozon, of course. The Bigfoot fight. Mark, have you seen anything like that? Like anything as bad as that? And like Mark Hominick's when he had the hematoma. Remember when like his head was like twice the size that it should have been? Have you seen anything that bad yet, or have you been lucky so far?
I've worked on a really bad cut that's been down to the bone above the eye, as well as I'd have to say the next in line was when I worked Bellator just this past Saturday. One of the fighters had a cut really deep on his cheek, and it was just pouring blood, just gushing blood, and it was down to the bone as well. And along with that night, I had a lot of hematomas, a lot of swelling. I was in the cage almost every round, almost every fight. So it was a pretty exciting night for a cutman on Saturday, this past Saturday at Bellator, and there was some nasty cuts, nasty swelling. It was definitely a challenge. So I'd have to say those have been probably the worst. Was the last one I've seen at Bellator was probably the worst cut that I've seen thus far. Definitely
good fights too. I'm gonna have to rewatch it now just to look out for you doing your thing there. What is in, like, I noticed the cutmen, they typically have like some sort of vest with like, it looks like John Popper from that Blues Traveler band. Just all the vest with the pockets full of stuff. I gotta know, what is in those damn pockets? Are they mostly just empty? Like, what kind of gear does a cutman carry?
It kind of varies from fight to fight. I've worked some fights where you can actually hold some of your product in your pockets, so therefore having a lot of those pockets is really helpful. Mm-hmm. I know at the last fight that I worked, which was at the Bellator, the commission did not care for you to put anything in your pockets, so we couldn't carry anything in our pockets. But
so do they actually search you? Sorry to interrupt. Do they actually search you? Because it sounds like they should, right?
You would think so, but no, they don't. They don't search you. Of course, they're trusting that you make the right decision, and
they watch you.
Right, and they watch you too. They're inside the cage, standing right next to you, as well as outside the cage. They're sitting right next to you. So, I mean, you got to be pretty stupid to try to not follow the rules. But typically, you don't carry things in your vest because, it's allowed in some places, and some places it's not. But typically, at Cutman, what we carry cage side is going to be, we have our epinephrine, we have our KO swells or in swells on ice, we have our cotton swabs, and we have towels, those types of things. But we usually carry that. We usually keep that cage side in our Cutman tray, and just grab what we need when we go in the cage.
Nice. What are some of the? Because you mentioned you worked Bellator. I know for a fact that you've done King of the Cage, and World Series of Fighting. I just got to ask the fan question. Some of the most famous hands that you've ever wrapped, who have they been?
The most famous hands that I've ever wrapped, has been, I've done Chael Sonnen.
Stop. Praise his name. Hallelujah. You've just said the magic word. You have won the prize on the word on the street. He is the hero of the show. The reason the show was partly founded, our hero, our man, the felon from Westland, the gangster himself, Chael P. Sonnen. The P stands for the greatest fighter of all time. Sorry to interrupt, Swayze.
That's all right. He deserves that type of introduction because he is a badass.
He is, totally. And now I just have to ask you, Dud, tell us what fight was it, if you can recall? How was it? Did you even speak to the man? Were you in awe? Were your hands shaking? I know he doesn't even bleed, so did you feel like you were unnecessary? What was the word?
Actually, when I wrapped Chael Sonnen, I was wrapping him for his training camp for his sparring session. So I haven't been able to wrap him for an actual UFC event yet.
It doesn't matter. That's an honor. That is
right. Oh, it was definitely an honor, and I loved every second of it. He was the first, I guess you can say, UFC celebrity that I got to get my hands on, and I was very nervous. Of course, I tried not to let it show because this man is trusting me to keep his hands safe for his training camp for a fight that he's scheduled to fight at 2 weeks later. So if he sees any nervousness, he's gonna be like, I'm not sure if I want you to, take care of my weapons here. So
those are billion-dollar hands.
Yeah, there's some pretty strong hands. But I was really nervous. But man, I was so excited. Oh man, what an honor to be able to wrap his hands. And same with Brian Stan and Yushin Okami. And I mean, it's such a great experience there in Tualatin at the Team Quest, wrapping them. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, rest in peace, Team Quest Tualatin. Chael Sonnen, Brian Stan, and Yushin Okami, they all used to train there. Are they really, honestly, Swayze, no bullshit here on the Word in the Street, are they really as nice as people say they are?
They are nicer than people say they are. I was so pleasantly surprised because, I had, for instance, Chael. Everybody knows Chael. There's, people have different opinions on his personality, and it was just, Brian Stan was just a doll, and Chael was the sweetest man. And they were all in Yushin. He didn't speak much English, but the English he could was great. And they were just incredible people and very inspirational to be sitting there and talking to them on, a one-on-one level. They're just incredible athletes. And, oh, man, before anybody ever judges every one of them, they need to meet them in person because they're just really incredible people.
Nice. Sorry for asking all the fan questions about Chael.
No, that's cool.
You got to understand this podcast. Hats off to again. What's up, Chael? Sometimes he even listens. I hear rumors. I hear things. But Swayze, the queen of cuts. Obviously you were. I'm guessing I'm not going out on a limb here. You'd love to work in the UFC, right? What do you know what's even involved in getting to that level? Is it just knowing the right people? Do you have to get licensed by a commission? What's involved in being a licensed, cutman?
Well, actually, to be licensed, it's a really easy process. It's really painless. You do have to be licensed in every state that you go to. That you would be working an event, and they expire on a yearly basis. But really, the license you would need is a second license, number 2, a second, and it's really easy to obtain. You fill an application. Now you have to be able to back it up. Mm-hmm. And you have to have that skill and the time and the passion into it to even, to get the trust of, of the promotion, the promoters and those types of things. So it's really easy to become a cutman, but it's very difficult to be a good cutman and a respected one. So there's definitely some challenges. Yeah, absolutely. My goal is to be, in the UFC, they're the best in the world, and that'd be an incredible goal to achieve. When that time comes, I'll know that I've earned it, and I don't know when it's going to come, but when it does, it'll be a great day. But meanwhile, I love every second of what I do, whether I'm working with amateurs or whether I'm working with the pros. If it's a passion, you love it no matter who you're with. So, I'm just waiting for the day that I worked hard enough to earn it. And, I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. No, I have no doubt that you'll get there. You're interested, you're passionate, you're invested in it, obviously. You're even taking time to talk to the little people here. So, yeah, definitely nothing but good things. When have you ever had to you obviously, I'm guessing, or at least I'm hoping that when you're a cutman, one of the prerequisites is that you at least know first aid. Am I correct on that? Or
well, yeah, it's definitely important for sure.
Okay. So like say a real life situation goes down, like someone's just bleeding, you're on the beach or at the restaurant or something, witness a, God forbid, a car accident, someone's bleeding. Are you gonna actually, if it's ever happened, please, have you ever actually had to apply your cut skills to real life ever since you've been learning the craft? Or like, say if someone was bleeding, would you just be like, screw that person, I ain't getting paid to heal, to stop this bleeding? Like, has it ever come up in real life, your cut skills?
It has. That's kind of a two-sided question because, for instance, our skills inside the cage is different than skills of like an EMT on the street, or, it kind of goes in a different way of just beyond first aid. If you're going to take care of someone on the street, you're not going to have your epinephrine with you to put on there. But I've definitely run into some issues where I could have used like my quick aid, which is a really great, blood coagulant. But unfortunately, the blood that I've came across in the most recent time has been pretty tragic, and it's been, like someone had a seizure in the store I was in and cracked his head wide open. So there was no way I could use my cut skills for that. That's when more of the, the common sense first aid came in and just went and got things to help until medics got there. But, I haven't been able to really use my cut skills in my everyday life other than maybe with my children if they get, a bloody nose because they hit each other or a bump on the head, those types of things. But definitely how we take care of cuts and swelling in the cage is different than you would on, on your everyday life.
Yeah, and some of the listeners, they're going to be dying of curiosity if I don't ask, and I'm sorry if it was a tragic ending, but the person with the seizure in the store, did that end up all okay or not so much?
I don't have an update on him. Unfortunately,
Okay.
he was really hurt, and everyone did everything we could possibly do, and I hope he was well when he got to the hospital. And I hope that he is still fine today.
Okay, well, yeah. Best wishes, people. That's just a mystery that you're just gonna have to deal with and live with, listeners. Sorry. Well, I just have a few more questions, Swayze. Sorry, that was such a downer. I'll try to get it back up here, but we are talking about, well, your business is not, well, the MMA is positive, but you're basically making sure that people don't get hurt, and you're inevitably going to see people get hurt. First I have one more question about your gear. I've always wanted to know. Sometimes when a person's not really, either they're bleeding or they do have that lump, that hematoma, that bruise, we see like some sort of metallic rolling device applied. Like it's like a little, I don't even call it. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. It's metal. It just seems like it's just hard, and they press it on whatever part is swollen. Do you know what I'm talking about? What is that thing?
Yeah, it would be a KO swell or an N swell. So
Right.
it's just an iced metal block or something that with a handle that you put on the contour of the face or on the swelling itself. And those are always sitting on ice cage side, so they're always cold and ready to go, ready to drop that swelling down. So that especially if it's in the field of the vision of the fighter, so they can continue fighting.
So why not use, so why don't we see, bags of ice anymore? The end swell is just better It's just that cold, basically frozen.
Yeah, it's definitely, the end swell is more for smaller swelling. If a fighter is totally getting blasted on the whole side of his face, and maybe the whole side of his face is swollen, then you would take a full ice pack and set it on there. But with the KO swells and the end swells, you can get, you can take care of just that one small area of swelling the best. You can really hone in and take care of just that one area.
Right. And you have to forgive me. I usually know my shit, but epinephrine, what exactly does that do? Is that like just an anti-inflammatory of like some sort of blood coagulant? Is that like a what is epinephrine? I thought it was like, for some reason I thought it was like some sort of adrenaline or something.
It is. It's epinephrine 1/1000 is what you would use, and it comes in a liquid, or we use a liquid, and we use a vial. And excuse me, I'm getting over a cold here. And it's definitely a blood coagulant, and it constricts the blood vessels, so it stops them from bleeding. So it's very it's very valuable to us to use that. But there's also a new product out there called Quick Aid, which is more kind of like a patch that you can cut to size. And one side is like a fuzzy white side, and the other side's more of a brown smooth side. And the brown smooth side has a blood coagulant in it as well, and it's a little quicker and not as messy. And you just pop it on there. You give it your pressure, and that constricts the blood vessels as well and coagulates any bleeding. So that's a great product to have as well.
Is there anything that is and this is second to last question, sorry. Is there anything that would probably be awesome, beneficial to use on a cut that is like just straight up illegal in the MMA world? Like, is there something that you wish you could use, but for some reason, whether it be stupid or a smart reason, is just like not allowed? And also tailing on that, if there is nothing, what are some of the banned, just some of the banned substances that you can't use on a fighter?
To be honest, I haven't come across really any banned things. A commission will have a list of what you're allowed to use, and that's it. And that's, the epinephrine. A lot of the places or states you're not even allowed to use Quick Aid. So really, anybody who's wondering what to use, just epinephrine is going to be your safest bet that every commission allows. But to be honest, I have not. There's also Avitine, and that you're allowed to use as well, stuff like that. So I honestly have not come across anything, or that has not been allowed, or that's banned. Right.
Word. Well, it sounds like you have a very interesting. It's like when it's a hobby and a job, like you can't complain. It sounds like you have an interesting life, though, Swayze. Where can people find you and contact you and learn more about you?
Definitely on the Twitter handle, Swayze Cutgirl, as well as, like you mentioned at the beginning, my website, thequeenofcuts.com. Also, feel free to friend request me or hit me up on Facebook, Swayze Valentine. You can find me under that. And, any questions that you want answered or just to chill, go for it. Hit me up.
Excellent. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, giving us some insight on exactly what goes down there. I always wanted to know what was in those damn vest pockets.
Yeah.
Thank you for that one. She is on Twitter at Swayze Cutgirl, and also go to the website thequeenofcuts.com. Swayze, before we let you go, just last question. Gotta know, how do you know our mutual friend Amber Matthews anyway? She was lucky enough to refer me to you, hook me up with this interview. Thank you so much to Amber. Just wondering where that came from.
Amber, she was a friend on Twitter, and she's just a total sweetheart, and seems to be one of my supporters as well as I am one of hers. And she's just a total sweetheart, and seems as if she just wants to help anybody out there, and I just adore her.
I feel the same exact way. Shout out to Amber. Thanks to her for connecting us. Swayze, definitely want to get you back on the show in the future. Keep in touch, and I can't thank you enough for coming on the show tonight. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. And anytime, guys, just hit me up.
Definitely. We will talk to you soon. Thank you again. And that is Swayze. And we'll just let you go right now. You have a good night, and thanks again.
You too, guys. Bye.
Bye. There she goes at Swayze Cutgirl, thequeenofcuts.com. Inspired randomly. She went to an MMA event, liked what she saw, that was it. She was hooked. It was all over. She went as far as just reaching out, emailing Stitch Duran. I don't even know how I would get Stitch Duran's email address. I don't even have those connections. Emailed him. He's like, this is what you got to do. Check out these videos, these books, this and that. They keep in touch. She's already in the business. She's working World Series fights. She's wrapping Chael Sonnen's hands. That's all, right then and there. That's all you need. And that's how I should have introed her. God bless her, though. Swayze Cutgirl on Twitter. Everybody follow her. Jake and Ross and Ninja, are you guys still there by any chance? Or what is this? You guys are playing GTA Online now? Is that what's happening on the street?
I cannot confirm or deny.
Ninja, how's your mic sounding? Try to say something. Let's test it out, man.
Is it good? Good? Anything?
It's definitely a lot better, man. You were Robotron earlier. It sounded like everything was not good, man. But Ninja, welcome back to the Word on the Street podcast, man.
Thank you.
I mean, I always want to ask what you've been doing, what you've been up to, but obviously it's ninja shit that you can't talk about.
Ninja shit. It's all in a wrap. Moved Ninja Land across the country. So, good. Just getting everything set up.
Did you really move, or is this a work? Is this a cover? What's happening?
I did move.
Can the ninja reveal his relative location?
In Nevada.
All right. That leaves two possibilities.
Relatively close to, distance to go to Vegas and watch all these awesome fights.
So you're probably in Reno? Is that either that or you're in the Nevada desert cooking crystal methamphetamine. Anyway, we'll get on with this show, guys. Sorry, the interview went she was interesting. Went a little bit longer. I was trying to keep it 20, went 30 minutes. The show itself I'm going to try to keep under an hour, so let's just move forward. You sons of bitches here on the Word on the Street. We do have some MMA topics, mostly UFC, I'm not going to lie, to cover. I just wanted to talk about this shit. Again, broadcasting like a nomad here up in this bitch. I shut down the government. They were blocking my signal, so I was like, guess what? I'll block your whole damn machine. They're down. I'm up. You're listening to me live. And there's only the headline here. I wanted to talk about the rumble that went down at the Mr. Olympia Expo between Chael Sonnen, our hero, the founder, and the ridiculous bum Vanderlei, the quote axe murderer, Silva.
If you give me a minute, I can pull up the audio for it.
I would actually like to hear that. Hopefully, I think someone uploaded a YouTube video that was just the confrontation and not the 3-5 minute video where Vanderlei Silva is just making a Bin Laden video, rambling into the camera with horrible metal music.
I actually have Vanderlei's video up now because it seemed to be the best quality. And
you know what? Yes, let's.
I got
let's
it.
Spotlight this motherfucker.
I've actually
let's
got
play the whole
it right now.
Thing.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'll smoke weed.
All right.
Well, I'll smoke weed, and you know what? Let's do some commentary on here, like it was pop-up video back on VH1. Let's hear this damn idiot.
Before he actually shows the clip of him, quote unquote, confronting Chael, he plays this little ditty, which is basically him saying, "I'm gonna get you, Chael." It's all in Portuguese, so.
Você mexeu com o cara errado. Você mexeu com o cara errado.
That's, you messed with the wrong guy. You messed with the wrong guy.
Você mexeu com o cara errado. E agora a tua hora vai chegar. Eu vou te pegar.
Next time I will come and get you.
A hora que eu entrar com você naquele octagon, você vai ver o que eu vou fazer com você.
Wait, can you pause?
Yep, and that was, when we get into the octagon, you will see what I'm going to do to you.
Okay, well, he says, next time I will come and get you. Well, Vanderlei, what was wrong with this time? You were there at the Mr. Olympia Expo facing Chael, but next time you're going to get him? All right, let's continue. Sorry, Jake.
And this upcoming part is the actual clip where he confronts Chael, and you can hear Chael saying, I think he says, now you know, or so. I don't know, I'm just going to play it. And he's walking up to Chael, and here we go.
From behind.
You need to know what you're talking about, motherfucker. You need to know, motherfucker. Your time's gonna come, motherfucker. You're talking about the wrong guy, motherfucker. Okay? Come to my face, motherfucker. You're gonna see what's gonna happen. Come here, motherfucker.
Motherfucker, after he's already been pulled away and is at least 10 feet away. That guy, first off, yeah, if anybody hasn't seen the video, the fuck is the title? I guess Sonnen Vanderlei Olympia. Just look that up on YouTube. Okay, well, first off, Vanderlei comes up to him from behind, sneaking up on him like a coward. All right, that's the first thing. Second, he already has it. He already has the stunt plan. He's got his cameraman right on him, and he's already obviously got his friend waiting to just pull him back immediately, stand in between them, pretend like he's trying to calm this man who's in some sort of rage. And obviously Chael turns around. He's ready immediately. As soon as he sees a man's face, you can tell he's ready to rumble. But then he notices, of course, well, obviously common sense comes into play. He knows he's at a public event. And then, if you notice in the video, Chael sees the goddamn camera. Chael sees the damn camera. And he's like, turn your camera off. He says that to Vanderlei. And then that's the only time, like, as soon as Chael sees the camera, you have to watch the video again. As soon as he sees that he's being recorded, he knows for a fact it's over. Up until then, you could see he puffed up, man. That's what people do. The obvious, not to call Chael a caveman, but that's what it was. It was immediate. Vanderlei's creeping up on him from behind like a coward. Jake, Ross, Ninja, what did you think? Jake, what's up? What was your take when you saw this? Do you think it's a work? Do you think it was all staged?
No. Well, sorta. Yes and no. Do I think it's staged? That was definitely a genuine reaction on Chael's part of, gritting his teeth. You need to know. You need to know. But I think this is Vanderlei. I don't think Vanderlei is doing this for any other reason than he knows that Chael is extremely popular, and he wants to try and get himself and Chael to be the main event of a card. And I don't think he realizes he's not good enough to main event anything nowadays. It's not going to happen. Chael's good enough to be on the main event, but Chael versus Vanderlei, that'd be such a one-sided beatdown. That would be stupid to put that on the main event of a card. Vanderlei wants pay-per-view points. He wants this. He wants that. So it's either one of two things. Either A, Vanderlei Silva has completely lost his mind, or B, he's just trying to build up enough animosity to where he, can get pay-per-view points.
Ross, hopefully you're still there, man. Vanderlei Silva shows up, tries to start some beef, getting Chael Sonnen in his face, looking like he's been injected with fucking whatever that crap is that makes your face freeze. Ross, did you see this goddamn video? What's your overall take on this ridiculous beef?
Yeah, I did see the video, and as to whether or not it was a work, if you want to put it that way, who knows? Of course, it does come off a little WWE-ish, but I do believe it was actually like a legit confrontation. I don't think
Chael looks like he didn't. Chael looks like he wasn't exactly ready for it. I believe his reaction.
Yeah, and the other thing is, Vanderlei has been knocked out so many times. The guy has been knocked out a dozen times in his life now, in his career, and he's got so much brain damage, and who knows, he may have been concussed. He may be out and on the shelf and not willing to fight Chael because he's suffering from post-concussion syndrome.
I haven't heard this theory before, that Vanderlei Silva is actually just punch drunk, stupid, and you might have a point there, Ross.
And his emotions are getting the better of him. After his good friend Shogun lost to Chael, that put him over the edge. That just is driving him insane, but he can't get in the cage because he won't be cleared medically, but he wants to badly fight Chael. That's the only way that I could see this, him actually wanting to fight Chael but not being able to, and this whole thing being legit, because other than that, it looks like Vanderlei is just kind of doing this for publicity.
Yeah, the thing is, he's dodged Chael numerous times. It's almost ridiculous. It's always something with this guy, man. He knows the way it's going to end up, and he'll end up being... The thing is, he dug his own grave trying to be so patriotic and nationalistic to Brazil. Vanderlei Silva knows if he takes the fight with Chael, he'll lose, and of course, he'll humiliate himself and his country. It's a shame. That's why he's ducking the fight. It's all pride. It's disgusting, people. But eventually they will fight because he's going to run out of money. You heard it first. That is the word on the street. Ninja. Chael Sonnen versus Vander... Oh, wow. You're back with the Robotron voice, man.
Back with the Robotron. Nothing's clearing up.
It sounds like your iPhone just you dropped it in the sink and picked it back up and tried to continue on with the show.
Let me work on that.
Yeah, it seems like a signal issue, so I don't know, man. I don't know. Move around, rob a liquor store. Do something. I'm sorry. But good luck to you, man, and praise his name. Praise his name. Anyway, Vanderlei Silva, no doubt about it. He's the fancy boy of the week. As I mentioned earlier, I revealed it. I broke the news. Brokeback Mountain was filmed on his ranch in Brazil for free. For free.
I call him out and he covers his mouth like a little fancy boy. I mean, what is that?
They call me fancy boy. You're a love man. Really walking.
Yep, he's a dandy. He's a real fancy boy.
Zigzag on the... Let's go. That's right, people. A fancy boy. Remember, Vanderlei was wasn't when it was on the previous time he accepted Chael's challenge and somehow backed out. Remember his quote was, "I'm going to suck his blood," or something like that. I'm done with this guy.
Oh, I'm going to suck his dick.
Exactly, man. Practicing his jiu-jitsu.
We're gonna get you, motherfucker.
I was thinking about calling Vanderlei and trying to get him on the phone for an interview, but I went with Hot Woman instead. Swayze as the guest. So sorry, Vanderlei. You son of a bitch, bum fancy boy of the week. Now, moving on, people. Won't even spend another second on Vanderlei Silva. Let's just get to these topics. We'll try to close this out here. We'll close out the show. We'll barrel through this shit. It'll be ridiculous. Lightning rounds or whatever. I've seen something on ESPN. These people at like the sports station, they do some sort of like bullet round, some Russian roulette here on the Word in the Street. News topics. All right. We'll go Jake, Ross, Ninja real quick. Well, assuming Ninja has some sort of connection here. Jake, Mike Pierce versus Husamar Palhares coming up in 8 days. What do you think about this fight? What do you have to say about this off the top of your fucking head?
I really like Pierce. Palhares has showed he definitely has holes in his game. And Pierce really only drops fights to elite guys, and even then, it's a very close fight. Pierce is not one of these bums that Husmar is going to be able to just grab his leg and gank it off. So I think a lot of people are going to say that Husmar Palhares is going to win because he has a bigger name because of all of his leg locks. But Mike Pierce, I've said it a million times, he's the most underrated fighter in the UFC. And I don't think he has much a problem at all with Palhares.
You're goddamn right, Jake. Mike Pierce is the most underrated fighter. Ross, he said in a fucking interview that I looked up today, straight up said, I am the most underrated fighter in my division. I do agree with that claim. And he also speculated, well, he straight up said that Husmar Palhares was a cheater, would do anything to win, and that he was, quote, an asshole. What's your take on this fight, which I believe is going to be the only fight worth it? Damn, Jake Shields versus what? Give me a fucking break. Mike Pierce versus, somebody better than Palhares should have been the fucking main card event here. But what's your take? Mike Pierce versus Husmar Palhares.
This fight is weird because you have a guy who is on a 4-fight winning streak in Mike Pierce, and he's got 2 knockout wins there. So he should be getting a step up in competition, yet he's fighting someone who's dropping down a weight class and is on a 2-fight losing streak, both losses by knockout. So this doesn't make sense. You match up a guy with 2 losses versus a guy with 4 wins. That's stupid. But it doesn't mean it's not a tough fight. This is a very, very tough fight because Husmar Palhares, he's able to catch people and then put them on the shelf for 9 months. So if Mike Pierce gets caught, he's on the shelf for a long time. And wrestlers can get caught in leg locks. So this is tough. But I think Mike Pierce will be able to get out of a leg lock. I think Husmar will go for one. He'll be able to get out and he will TKO him or knock him out from the guard. We've already seen it multiple times with Palhares, and we know Mike Pierce has pretty damn good power. Obviously, 2 of his last 4 wins have been knockouts, so he can finish this fight by knockout, and that's how I see this fight ending. Mike Pierce by knockout.
I definitely believe that Mike Pierce will pull it off. Lately, he's known what's at stake. He knows that he's got to go for the fucking, exciting fights, finishes, which he's done. 2 of the last 3 fights that he's won, and he's won his last 4 fights streak. 2 of the last 3 have been finishes. This guy can't catch a fucking break. He must have done something to somebody in a past life. I don't know what the deal is. Coach Jamie, the living legend, Huey, shout out, was even talking about Mike Pierce last week. He had some insight on it. Yep, no doubt in my mind, Mike Pierce takes this. I am, just to reveal a little behind-the-scenes shit, working to get Mike Pierce on the show sooner than you would think. I got to do some begging. I got to pull some strings, do a couple jobs, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, next topic, and it was supposed to be like a lightning round type of
Is the Ninja back on? Can you guys hear me?
You sound a lot better, Ninja. Holy shit, I can understand what you're saying. We could hear you before. It just didn't make any fucking sense.
Sorry if there's background noise. I am literally on the street, on the Word on the Street podcast, just so we all are clear of that.
Holy shit. So whenever Ninja speaks, people, it will literally be the word on the street. Ninja, well, what's the word on the street about Mikey Pierce versus Husamar Paul Harris? Are you even still watching MMA anymore?
Okay, listen up. I could care less about this fight. What I want to talk about is some ape-like caveman that wants to poke the beast. Vanderlei Silva, I am talking to you. There is a reason why people in your state, they talk crap about Chael Sonnen worlds and countries and continents away. Because when you talk crap about Chael Sonnen, two things are going to happen. One is you're going to get put in your place, and two, you're probably not going to remember it. Somebody like Vanderlei Silva that paid so much money to have all that scar tissue rebuilt, removed, his face reconstructed, does not need to poke at Chael Sonnen, because Chael Sonnen will, in fact, rearrange your face. Vanderlei Silva, you might be a little more that you can swallow, son, and I suggest you go back to Brazil, hide under the rock that you came out of, and leave the big boy game to the boys.
You're damn right, Ninja. Ninja, you people don't understand. This man is standing out in the middle of a road, yelling into his phone about Vanderlei Silva. You understand? You think any Vanderlei Silva fans gonna be, well, they'll be doing that. They'll be on the street, but they don't have a phone, is what I'm saying. Ninja, all the good things in life, I hope they come to you and your family or your friends, whatever, man. You've spoken the word here. So
that is the word from the literal street.
Yep. And good to know that you're figuring out the reception in the new area that you moved to. Next topic, lightning round, people. Keep your answers, just soundbite. We're talking Fox News, CNN type shit here. Bisping's eye. Michael Bisping, he pulled out of his damn title fight. Well, not title fight, sorry. It was a headlining fight because his eye is all fucked up, detached retina. He's had problems with it before. Michael Bisping's eye is all fucked up. Jake, you think this is it for Mikey? You think he's going to make a comeback? Come on, man. This is pretty bad here. It's a recurring injury, and it's his fucking eye. He said he scammed his way into the last fight, basically. Did you see that interview? What's your take, man? What's your opinion of Michael Bisping right now, given this information?
I didn't see that interview, and it didn't seem like he was in a bunch of pain. I mean, I saw the picture he tweeted out, and he was, smiling in it. It didn't, seem like he was that pissed off or anything. But when I hear things about a knee or a back or a neck injury, that's definitely something that raises an eyebrow. But an eye, I feel like this is something that's only going to put Bisping on the shelf for a little while. I don't think he'll have too much of a problem, coming back long term. I don't think it'll be an issue.
Ross, Bisping's eye is all fucked up, man. He can't watch 3D movies, man. He's all discombobulated. But what's your take? You think this is serious? You think it's just a fake story? You think he'll be back? Do you think he'll ever get the title shot that keeps fucking eluding this guy? He has the worst luck of all time.
I don't know if he's ever going to get that title shot. Mikey B's got a detached retina, and he fucked around with it too long. This is the second time he's injured it now in just a few short months, and that's a bad thing. He could have gone blind, so he's lucky that he still has his eye. We have to play this thing by ear. I don't know if he'll ever fight again. I think he will, but I give him like a 70% chance, 60% chance at this point.
Yeah, and he did. I don't remember who the interview was was with, but Mike Bisping did. It was probably, God damn it was probably Ariel Hawaii. But he did say that he managed to fight his last fight. I don't even remember who he fought, but he said that he snuck past the commission review because he had already had his eye exam, and then it got fucked up. But they didn't retest him right before the fight. And he's claiming he could barely even see out of one eye in the last one. Ninja, who did Michael Bisping fight last? And what's your take, man? You think he's all done? Will he ever get a fucking title shot?
I certainly hope so. Michael Bisping is one of my favorite fighters. He's a stand-up guy. Personally, he's a really nice guy. He's really good. When Michael Bisping gets wiped off a card like that, it's unfortunate for the UFC. Will he get a title shot? He definitely has the talent and skills to do it. And now with, the great fall of Anderson Silva and, all that stuff going on, it just pretty much shook up the whole division. So, we'll see. I certainly hope he does because like I said, he's one of my favorite fighters. So it's sad to see him get hurt. I hope he comes back. I look forward to that day. Get well soon, Michael Bisping.
My opinion is that Michael Bisping will be back. I think he will eventually get a title shot, and that's going to be do or die for him, people. He's not going anywhere. He's going to get better. He's doing the right things. I'll pay for his eye surgery. You hear me, Mikey? Reach out, man. I know how it is, man. Much love. Jake. Oh, of course. Which one to get? No, we'll go with Jake. Jake, there were a couple cuts in the UFC this week. One of them was someone that you've had a chance to have some correspondence with. Some might even call it a beef.
A good friend of mine.
Mikey Ricci was cut from the UFC. I just want to make sure that... just so the audience knows, we have to give them the background here. Mike Ricci said that he inferred that your father, Jake,
my dear
was
old
a homosexual.
Dad. That's right.
That your father was a homosexual. Can you tell us the story and then tell us how you feel about Mike Ricci getting cut?
Mikey Ricci tweeted out something, a kind of cryptic text, or not text, but a tweet. And said, went in with brownies, came out with a brown paper bag. And obviously, it means he brought brownies somewhere and they ate all the brownies. And me thinking that Mike Ricci might have some sort of a sense of humor, because he says, went in with brownies, came out with a brown paper bag. And I said, is that code for gay sex? That's something I would say to a friend of mine.
That's a valid question.
Yeah. And we all know Mikey Ricci is a fancy boy, so I'm a journalist. I'm asking a valid question. And he said, why don't you ask your dad? He would know. Which infers two different things. It infers that my dad likes to have gay sex, and it infers that Mikey Ricci somehow knows that my dad likes to have gay sex, which would make me believe that Mike Ricci was trying to tell me that he had sex with my dad.
The knowledge has to come from someone.
Which was pretty interesting. I would expect that news to come from my dad, not Mikey Ricci. But I guess that's the least
Jake,
surprising part
of it.
Man.
I just have to ask, even though we're presented with the evidence of you being alive and on this show, is your dad a homosexual?
I guess. I mean, he and my mom split up when I was very young, so you got that. He is with this Swedish lady now, really nice. But I can't really confirm or deny. He might be, probably not. But you never know.
You never know. But Mike Ricci claimed he knew. He also claimed, that he was UFC caliber. He purported himself to be that, but he got cut. So what's your take on that?
Putting
aside the personal feelings,
the guy's just not exciting at all. All he is a neutralizer. And yeah, he doesn't have much game of his own. He kind of got his ass handed to him in his last fight. So, I mean, really, I'm glad he got cut, not because he said my dad likes to have gay sex and that he likes to have gay sex with my dad, but I'm happy he got cut just because he's so fucking boring.
Well, yeah, he had it coming. I do have to say, not very spectacular performances, winning performances even. Ross, you were very close to Mike Ritchie, I believe. How do you feel about him getting cut? And do you know anything about Jake's dad?
Ross, have you had sex with my dad?
I know nothing about Jake's dad. That's weird. Ricci, I hate Ricci. I've always hated Ricci. He is a douche. He can get hit by a truck.
Wait, elaborate, expand.
He's just look at the guy. I mean, if you don't look at the guy, and if you look at the guy and you don't see douche right away, there's something wrong with you. The guy is just a straight up douche, and I didn't watch Tough, but he was a douche. So good riddance.
So in essence, what you're trying to say is that he was the embodiment, like Ritchie was, of a douchebag itself. I understand. Ross, thank you. Ninja Larson, hopefully you're still...
I wanted
Jake,
to add one
about
thing. Yeah, I've heard him in one interview, and I don't know why, but I remember the interview because I was walking down a Chicago street with a duffel bag full of dirty clothes. Because the washer dryer in my apartment building was broken, so I had to walk all my clothes like a half mile down the road. It was a pain in the ass, but I was listening to the MMA Hour with Ariel Hawaii, and he had Mike Ricci on, and basically for 20 minutes, Mike Ricci just complained about how horrible the Ultimate Fighter was, and how he felt mentally and emotionally damaged, and how the cameraman dudes working on the show said, "Wow, we've never seen anyone this disturbed from being on the show before." The dude's just, I don't know. Dude's a fancy boy.
I have to say, he is going to be the fancy boy of next week. Mikey Ricci, you have been nominated, and it's my fucking show. You've been elected. You will be the fancy boy of next week. Ninja, Mikey Ricci, do you have any opinion on this man whatsoever? All right, Ninja. Ninja, you know, he was coming to us live from the street itself. Oh, there you are, Ninja. Mike Ricci gets cut from the UFC after accusing Jake's dad of being a homosexual. What is your take?
Sorry, I'm a little broken up right now.
I know, man.
It's such a sad loss because Mikey Ricci was... Wait, who the fuck are we talking about again?
It's hard times, I know, man. I know.
Mike Ricci? Is that his name? Who is this? I don't even know who this guy is.
Yep.
And the case in point, was he even in the UFC? Who did he fight? When? I really don't even care. His name doesn't even deserve to come out of the ninja's mouth. So, good riddance.
I love it when the ninja talks in third person. It's my favorite ninja.
That's right. Standing out on the street. You gotta love that. I can picture it. Because you guys don't know this, but he actually is dressed up like a ninja. For no apparent reason. Speaking of people getting cut, god damn it. We have to do lightning round style. I will enforce it this time. Speaking of UFC fighters getting cut, also on the chopping block, he was a personal friend of mine, friend of Chael's. Yushin Okami got cut from the fucking UFC. Jake, what the fuck, man? What's this all about? What do you got to say?
This is a really interesting cut. I don't really agree with it, but I guess I can see. Yushin was 13-5, I believe. Wins against some definitely some impressive dudes, but every time he fought that elite fighter, he got his title fight against Anderson. He fought Chael and couldn't beat him. And Dana White basically, alluded to the fact that the reason he was cut was because he seemed like he was at permanent gatekeeper status, which I don't know. Like there are a lot of guys who are at this permanent gatekeeper status, and I don't ever see getting a title shot, but Dana keeps him around. So I don't know. I do understand that you've got to open up slots for younger guys and guys who want a chance to fight in the UFC, but at the same time, dude just beat Hector Lombard, and that's a top middleweight. So I think there is a long list of fighters that deserve to be cut before Yushin, and I feel kind of bad for him.
Ross, Yushin Okami got cut from the fucking UFC. He's fucking just in Chael's mom's basement using the internet looking for a job. What's your take on this cut? You think it was a good call or a bad one?
Well, first off, I don't think Yushin knows how to use the internet. He doesn't tweet ever.
He's Asian, of course he does.
I don't, honestly, anyway, I feel bad for the guy because he is one of the best in the world. And if you're one of the best in the world, you should be in the UFC. He's a top 10 middleweight. There's no question about that. No one would dispute that. At the same time, I can understand where they came from with cutting him because you have a huge roster and you have a guy who, he's in the top 10. He's sticking around, but he's never going to be champion. He probably won't ever get back to a title shot again. So what do? You just keep him around to kind of just stay there? He's not very exciting. He's not very marketable. And he's a guy who's going to beat most of the up-and-coming talent. So then you don't have up-and-coming talent. So what do? You have to cut the guy in that case. At the same time, I do not think he should have been cut because even though, you got to go with that mentality, you still need gatekeepers around to make sure that people can rise to the occasion. And we've had people do it. We had Tim Boach be able to get past Yushin Okami, although I don't think he would get past him in a rematch. We had Jacare do it. So if you beat Yushin Okami, it's a huge thing. Huge thing. And it launches you right up there in title contention. Basically, if you beat Yushin Okami, you're a fight away from a title shot. So you're going to get a number one contenders fight. He's that damn good. So I do not think he should have been cut. It was a bad cut. It was way worse than the Fitch one. Fitch had lost multiple. This guy's coming off of a 3-fight win streak, loses one fight to a guy who's pretty much the number one contender, and he gets cut for that. And he beat 2 guys that are still in the UFC. 3, I think. I'm not sure if Buddy Roberts is, but Alan Belcher and Hector Lombard are both in the UFC, especially Lombard, whose contract is huge. He's got one of the top 10, top 5 biggest contracts in the UFC right now. And he's been a complete dud. He's 1-2. But they let him stick around. Okami's not as expensive, and he's much better. So it doesn't make that much sense, but I can see where they're coming from a business perspective. Sport perspective, not so much.
Hector Lombard, coming off of that loss, has a slot at UFC 166 in Houston in 2 weeks. Meanwhile, the guy that beat him in the last fight has been fired. Just to put it in a little bit of perspective. Ninja, Yushin Okami, man. We loved him. He trained in your area, in your backyard. How do you feel about this cut, man? What's going on?
This is a horrible decision and a horrible cut for the UFC. Somebody really wasn't thinking when they made this cut. I really hope somebody in the UFC, whoever's listening to this, gets through the wire, realizes what they just did and they sign him back up. Because basically, from my perspective, Yushin Okami's going to make some company somewhere in the world quite a bit of money. I mean, I'd still pay to watch him fight. He's a good fighter. I think he's pretty entertaining. Send him to Japan and see, how popular he is there. I mean, it's gonna be crazy. So why would you let that go? From a business standpoint, I don't even see it. I mean, cut Mike Ricci, cut people that are friends with Mike Ricci, cut his whole damn camp if you have to. Why cut somebody like Yushin Okami? Hey, let's not, give what to one of these douchebags on this new season of The Ultimate Fighter and keep Yushin Okami. I just don't understand it.
I mean, it's one of these fucking things, man. I can't tell if I'm biased just because, I know the history of Okami. But I have to say,
he's went out there. He's fought his heart out. He's fought, given some entertaining fights. Nothing like crazy spectacular. Anything like that. But he's gone out there and won fights. He'll fight whoever you put in front of him. I mean, has anybody ever heard? I mean, not that we could understand what he says anyway, but I mean, has anybody ever heard of him turning down a fight ever? I don't. Why would you cut that? Why would you show, somebody that's been good for your business the door? I mean, I don't know. No common sense.
Ross, you got something to add?
Yeah. As we all know, and we just talked about it, Michael Bisping pulled out of his fight against Mark Munoz. Machida, who was supposed to fight Tim Kennedy, stepped in. Well, Tim Kennedy was left without an opponent. Yushin Okami would have been the perfect opponent because they couldn't find anybody coming off a big win who they could match up with Tim Kennedy, so they needed to find someone on the lower level. Well, they could have used a guy coming off of a loss, but at least still a big name in Yushin Okami, and a guy who's top 10, while Tim Kennedy is kind of right outside the top 10. That would have been a perfect main event because people know who Yushin Okami is. That's the difference. No one knows who Rafael Natal is. People know who Yushin Okami is. He's fought in big main events before. He fought Nate Marquardt in a main event. He's a huge name. It would have made perfect sense, and Yushin's a company man. That I don't understand why they did this. That would have been the perfect thing to do.
I don't know either, man. And you know what, people? We are reaching the end of the show, so I guess we'll never fucking know. Unless you tune in next week to the War on the Street podcast, or the MMA podcast, or the final round. Or maybe Ninja's got some shit going. But before we sign off, we will have the trivia challenge. And I gotta say, right now I gotta make a deal with you people. Jake and Ross and Ninja, I propose, since we are running short on time, I do have some things to do. I mean, I got fucking my friend Franklin's been blowing me up. My friend Michael and Trevor. They need me to just take
Ramses, you put off this show for a month. We are not canceling the trivia competition, my friend.
I'm not canceling it. I'm just saying
we're not postponing it either, son.
Trevor's
Trevor's
going to be pissed, and we should not cross him, but I think he'll understand.
Trevor's going to be pissed, man. What I am proposing, people, is the 1-round sudden death trivia challenge of Name That Fighter. 1 round. Sudden death.
Let's do it, cocksucker.
What do you mean by Ross? 1 round?
It's just going to be
only
one
fighter?
Just one fighter. Whoever gets this one gets it.
Like, what is the longest
it's
trivia's
up to
ever
Ross.
taken? 5 minutes?
Ross is the current. What's the difference here? Aren't you guys already playing online against each other anyway?
Listen,
this entire time.
Listen,
and now you're gonna pause it.
If you compromise the great game that we have developed here, and we have established, that has evolved here on the Word on the Street podcast from its ancient roots back in May all the way to now, September, October. We have come so far. The game has evolved. We have taken it to the next level, and there's so many people listening. You can't do it. You can't. You got to leave the game the way it is. 3 rounds.
I had actually heard that Fox might end up picking up this game and put it on TV. They might be listening. Hello, Fox.
You know what?
But
I love
when
Damon
it comes
Martin.
down to it, it's not about Ramses, it's not about me, it's not about Ross, it's not about Ninja, it's not about Fox. It's about you, the listener.
That's what I'm saying, man. And like I was saying, Damon Martin, he's got his podcast now on the Fox Sports Network. I gotta say, man, I don't think... I mean, sometimes these trivia challenges go up to 15 to 20 minutes. I told you guys I am working on something new, something that's never been done before, something that'll blow away everyone else. And I'm asking you people to trust me. I'm asking you. And I'm just saying, in the interest of time, which we've already wasted minutes of just debating this, let's do a sudden death round.
Let's do the 3-round shit. I'm not down for sudden death.
Ramses, if you change the rules, you break the integrity of the game, and that just breaks the hearts of the viewers. I don't think you want to do that. That's a bad move, man. It's a bad move.
Don't you understand? If you people had any inkling of the game that I am about to bring to the table after this, it's going to be version 2.0. But all right, you guys are fighting me. I'll give in. Let's do this real quick then. You sons of bitch, pony boy fancies.
You, Ramses, you could do it. Do it for Franklin. Do it for Michael. And do it for Trevor.
You guys are real dandies, I'm telling you right now. Okay. You sons of bitches. Making me feel like the guy from Double Dare that was afraid of bacteria.
Mark Summers?
That's right.
That guy was a douchebag. Sorry.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still around somewhere.
Maybe when you're not trying to Google and cheat the answer, you can Google Mark Summers and we can find out if the man is at least still alive. Here we go with the first motherfucking fighter on the Word on the Street Trivia Challenge. It's called Name That Fighter. This competition... Oh, Christ. If we're going to do this, let's do it with the music. Let's go all out if we're going to play this game one more time before I roll out the new monster.
Listen, I'm not here tonight to play games. I'm here to win a championship. Ross Finkelstein, prepare to give me that belt.
I've been champion for a long time. I've had this belt for a very, very long time. I've been at the top for a long time, Jake. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing Ninja can do. There's nothing Ramses can do. There's nothing anyone can do that's going to stop the Jew.
Ninja, you're a random player. What do you have to say about this whole fucking ordeal?
Listen up. When the Ninja does something, the Ninja does it right. Tonight, coming from the street, I mean, obviously I don't have a computer sitting out here with me because that would be some crazy Ninja stuff, and I'm just not into that. But the Ninja, he'll probably get a few wrong, let you guys get a sustainable lead, and then come in for the knockout for the win.
You heard it there. 3 players on the Word on the Street Trivia Challenge. Who will take it home? We'll find out. They forced me into this, people. Here it goes. Word on the street, motherfucker. That's right, anybody that ever manages to hear this, I apologize if it's, somehow I have future offspring and they're reduced to listening to this. I was forced to do this all the way, the Word on the Street Trivia Challenge. You heard it, people. They twisted my arm, they bamboozled me, they hoodwinked me.
That's right.
Why? For no other reason than their own pride and, I'm guessing, boredom.
That's right.
Ross and Jake and Ninja, we are playing the game called Name That Fighter. I name facts about a fighter who has either fought currently or formerly in the UFC, and they have to guess who it is, and they do so by buzzing in by saying their own name. First person to 3 points wins the whole motherfucker is the Word in the Street Trivia Challenge. So it's basically name that fighter. You'll see how it goes. And just hey, smoke weed every day. All right. Fuck it. Let's go to it. Round 1. First fighter. He has fought this year in 2013. He fought on my dad's birthday. On my dad's birthday. Google that, guys. You having fun there? Huh?
What's your dad's middle name again?
Tap. Tappity tap. Yeah, nothing, huh? That's right. You guys want to drag me into this shit? You guys dragging me into this shit, I'm going to make it a goddamn miserable experience for you. That's right. He fought on my dad's birthday. I'm not making that up. He really did. It was at UFC 157. This fighter has lost his last 2 fights. He has fought in the middleweight, the heavyweight, and also the light heavyweight divisions.
Jake,
what is your guess?
Dan Henderson?
It is Dan Henderson.
Yeah.
That's some good typing, man.
Earlier than me. A second earlier.
Skills,
about to buzz in.
Have you guys ever gotten so stoned that you call each other on Skype and you're like, what method of cheating are you using? And you try to get the latest method, the bootleg method. Is that how it works?
Look, me and Ross have never failed a drug test, and until we
latest
do,
Google algorithm. Is that how it works?
We haven't failed any drug test. Damn it.
Yeah.
We keep the integrity of the game, dude. Like I said before at the start of the show.
Mm-hmm. Jake has 1 point. Ross and Ninja still hanging in there. This next fucking fighter, round 2. This next fighter is Brazilian. Right away. Jesus. So, he's not that good. He has also fought in the same divisions as Dan Henderson, who was the last fighter. The middleweight,
Ninja.
Heavyweight, and Ninja with a guess. What is it, Ninja?
Vitor Belfort.
Ninja, it is not Vitor Belfort. I'm sorry. You were close. Ninja has been eliminated from this round, unfortunately. Just this round. The fighter, what did I say? He stinks. He's Brazilian. Ross, what is your guess?
Vanderlei Silva.
It is Wanderlei Silva. Bringing it even.
I was about to guess Lyoto Machida, but I guess he hasn't fought a middleweight yet, even though he's slated to.
Pisswasser, dude. Invest. That's all I gotta say.
That's right.
Lyoto Machida was not.
You come out of my mouth again. So that wasn't a fair round.
I know. It's never fair, man. None of this matters. Nothing matters in this life, really. Go see the movie Gravity, people. Anyway, moving on.
What the fuck was the plug for Gravity? Really?
I don't know.
Sandra Bullock is floating around. Gravity.
Where did that come from?
I have no idea what you're speaking of. Round 3, people.
Gravity's the music where, or Gravity's the movie where Bullock is an astronaut and is just floating around space, right?
Well, gravity is a force that actually controls the motion of the entire cosmos.
Well, it's also a movie with Sandra Bullock in it, right? I am aware that Gravity is a thing.
But the thing is, nobody knows what the 0 and 1 is for Gravity. What I mean is, nobody knows where that programming came from. Who made that a rule? Do you understand what I'm saying and implicating? Who made Gravity?
Gravity in Ninja Land.
Who designed that particular physics engine, and then who designed physics?
Ben Rothwell.
This is why I tried to get this podcast over with as quickly as possible. I just got a new batch, people. Let me tell you what I got here. Let me see. This is 17 grams of what they are calling the Blue Dream in Austin, Texas at the moment.
Dude, that's really funny. I got some Blue Dream last week. That's hilarious.
We're probably getting it from the same like multi-billion-dollar distributor in the southern region, southern central region,
Western U.S.
Yep. And then the other, here it is. It's the word in the streets here of Austin. Here, the other one is called the simply labeled AK-47. Good brand. Well, I guess it's not a brand. Strand.
Strand.
I think both are correct. This round 3.
Call it whatever you want, cocksuckers.
Jake with 1 point, Ross with 1 point. The Ninja still possibly could steal this whole goddamn thing. Round 3, this fighter has lost his last 3 fights in the UFC. His last 3. Well, what else? What can I say about this fighter that has not been said about Afghanistan, to quote Dave Chappelle? He has fought... Well, he's an American, which is, an embarrassment. It's a shame to this country. He's lost his last 3 fights in the UFC. He is no longer with the UFC. He fought in the light heavyweight division. Kickboxing, wrestling, submission fighting. Mixed martial arts record. 16 wins, 11 losses, 1 draw. 6 feet 2 inches tall.
Ross.
Jake.
Ross chimed in first.
Damn.
I was about to just straight up say his name.
Ross definitely got
Ross.
It is the Huntington Beach pussy, Tito Ortiz.
Man.
You are correct, Ross. It is Tito Ortiz, the Huntington Beach bad boy, the Lion's Den hunter, and he stole this from Chael Sonnen, even though it was before Chael Sonnen was fighting. The people's champion. The people's champion. Tito Ortiz.
What people? Everyone hates him. No one likes him. How can you be the people's champion when no one likes you?
Yeah, he knows he's got family.
You're a bum, Tito. If you're listening, you're a bum.
People in Huntington Beach like this guy. So, what people?
What is Huntington Beach? Has anybody ever been there?
It's where a bum lives.
Muscle Beach, like freaking Venice Beach is, I think. I don't know.
I picture like Grand Theft Auto when you drive out by the weed shop now. That's what Huntington Beach is to me. If there's ever anybody...
Just for the record, I want everybody to know that I was, in fact, thinking of the Huntington Beach bad boy. I just did not chime that in.
Praise his name.
A second late and $1 short. Nice point, Ross.
Good game. Good game.
Oh, well, isn't it still continuing?
It is.
The nightmare
I'm saying
drags
it's a good
on,
game so far. It's a war. See, this is why we do it. This is why we do the 3 rounds, because wars happen, man. You gotta provide for the people.
You guys have some sort of ego contest raging.
That's right.
You have no regard for the entertainment or content.
Next question. Next question.
Of my show.
Next question.
Here comes in a row right here. Boom, boom. Quick, quick, quick.
I even stated in the intro to the
covers
show.
his mouth like a little fancy boy. I mean, what is that?
I even stated that I wanted to keep this under an hour. It's almost like you guys are just punking me. But I understand, people. I started this, so I have to finish it. But I'm telling you, I'm rolling out.
telling you about that shit. Yeah.
I'm rolling out a new game that'll blow everybody away. I swear and I pray on Jesus' name. Anyway, round 3, right? Or no, it's round 4 now, right? 2 points for Ross, 1 for Jake. Ninja, still a possibility to sweep it.
Cocksucker.
You never know, man. Okay, are you all ready? That was a question.
Yeah, let's do it, son.
Yeah. Okay. Keep in mind I asked if you were all ready. First person to respond. This person, if you remember who the previous fighter was, this person has lost to that fighter 3 times.
Ninja.
Ninja, what is your guess? Or your answer, I guess.
I choked. I thought it was going to be Chuck Liddell, but it's not.
It is not Chuck Liddell.
Ross.
Jake,
Ross,
come on, man. I was waiting.
Ninja worked it.
Oh my God, this is bullshit.
Ross, what is your answer?
It's obvious.
I'm playing by the rules.
God damn it! I was waiting for Ninja to finish talking. I had it the whole time. Man,
it is Ken Shamrock.
It is Ken the Bum Shamrock.
It is fucking Ken Shamrock.
With that, Ross has taken the title. Challenge. Ross, what do you hear what you say? How do you feel? Give your speech.
Fucking bullshit.
Can I speak? Can I speak? I can always speak. I always have something to say to the people. I hate the people, but I come to them every week and I give them every bit, every ounce of my being. I throw it all on the line, and I fight every single week. I'm a champion. I'm a true champion. I've proved myself. I'm the best in the world. I'm pound for pound #1. I am the best Jew in the business. Ross Finkelstein, E before the L.
There you have it. We don't often see it. Sometimes we do in title fights, but Jake, do you have a defeat speech?
Hey, smoke weed every day.
God bless you, Jake. Ninja, thank you for playing. It's an honor just hearing from you. Knowing that your enemies have not killed you just yet. And that you're still on top.
All I have to say is, damn it, Chuck Liddell, why couldn't you have lost to Peter Ortiz 3 fucking times? Come on, Chuck.
I know.
Be a team player.
Well, God bless us, every one of us. In His name we pray. Thank you for tuning in to the Word in the Street podcast once again. We will be back live with you coming up. Thanks to Swayze Cutgirl on Twitter, Swayze Valentine. Follow her, thequeenofcuts.com. Jake, where can they find you?
Simple. Just follow us on Twitter at the MMA Podcast. We're switching from Fridays to Mondays. Next Monday will be the first Monday show, so make sure you tune into that.
Ross, what are you all about? Where can people find you?
What am I all about? You can find me on Twitter at Ross Finkelstein, E before the L. I'm doing the final round tomorrow night, 12 Eastern, after the Ultimate Fighter. We're talking tough. We're breaking down the UFC rankings. We're bashing Vanderlei Silva and Bellator. So many things. Tune in tomorrow, 12 o'clock, E before the L. You know what's going on.
The Ninja himself becoming a legend. Where can people find you, talk to you, or do you just want to fuck up?
The official head knight is Michelle Sun and Kingdom. You can find me on Twitter at the Ninja Larson. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. You got something to say to Shale P. Simmons, it goes through me, Vanderlei Silva. That goes to you. Anytime, anywhere, son.
That's right, people. At the Ninja Larson. Follow him on Twitter. Thank you for tuning in. Follow me, The Anti-Me Show. We'll be back soon. Listen to the final round at Ross Finkelstein. People, somebody's going to get their ass kicked. We're out of here. Word on.
Stay black.
I was in the hood, #1 with split. Never try to stop, cause you know you can't compete. Live by your rubber, get thrown in the street. It's more about the act of you better cop a back,